What up, y'all? It's your boy Bright here, the R&B Kid, and I'm back again with another episode. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about my predictions for the 2018 Grammys, and also my thoughts on the nominations. Are y'all ready? It's lit.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. Relax just a little bit. You don't gotta worry, you can just have fun.
Okay, y'all, so the 2018 Grammy Award nominations were announced on Tuesday, November 28th, I believe it was. And they are very interesting this year. So what I'm going to do for this video is at first I'm just going to break down the major categories that I want to talk about, and I'm going to break down who I think will win each category and also who I want to win. So I'm going to do a who should win versus who will win for all of the major categories that I want to talk about. And at the end, I'm just going to break down some of my general thoughts about the nominations as a whole. A lot of interesting trends I noticed this year, so I'll talk about that at the end. But first, let me just break down all my my picks for all the nominations and the major categories that I want to talk about. Y'all ready? Let's go. Okay, guys, so for record of the year, we have Childish Gambino with Redbone, Luis Fonsi, Daddy Yankee, and Justin Bieber with Despacito, Jay-Z with The Story of OJ, Kendrick Lamar with Humble, and Bruno Mars with 24 Karat Magic. For this category, my personal pick would be Humble, and I think it actually will go to Humble too. So who should win? Humble. Who will win? Humble, I think. Yeah. For album of the year, so this is probably the most controversial category for the Grammys this year. For album of the year, we have Childish Gambino again with Awaken My Love, Jay-Z with the 444 album, Kendrick Lamar with the Damn album, Lorde with Melodrama, and Bruno Mars with 24 Karat Magic. This is probably one of the most interesting album of the year nomination years that I think I've ever seen, ever since I've really been tracking the Grammys. This was a very shocking nomination group, to say the least. But I'll talk more about it later. But my pick for who should win this category, I guess honestly this year, I'm gonna talk more about this later as well. But this year I'm more on the bandwagon for Kendrick than Jay-Z, even though I love both albums. So for my who should win, I'm gonna go with Damn by Kendrick Lamar. But who I think will win will also be Kendrick Lamar as well. I think it's a shame because I really think To Pimp a Butterfly, like I said before in my earlier Grammy video, To Pimp a Butterfly really should have been the the album in Kendrick's catalog that should have had the album of the year honor in its name more than Damn. But at the end of the day, I'll take Damn because the Grammys have always paid dust to hip hop. So at the end of the day, I'll take something over nothing. At the end of the day, there's a 40% chance that a hip hop album is going to win album of the year this year. Really good, really good odds. It's either going to be Jay-Z or Kendrick, and I would love to hear what you guys think. Whether you think if it is between Jay-Z and Kendrick for album of the year, who do you think will win it between those two? I personally think if it was going to be one of them, it'll be Kendrick. But at the end of the day, you guys let me know if you think Jay-Z has a shot to really take it. I don't see Childish or Bruno taking it, and I don't see Lorde taking it unless there's like a split vote amongst the other four. So yeah, Lorde could be the dark horse that takes it if all the other votes are split, but I really do see this being a battle between Jay-Z and Kendrick. And in my opinion, I want Kendrick to take it, and I think Kendrick will take it finally. But I'm not gonna sleep on Jay-Z at all. I'm gonna say that. All right, so moving on. For Song of the Year, we have give me 1 second here. For Song of the Year, we got Luis Fonsi, Daddy Yankee, and Justin Bieber with Despacito. I'm not going to name all the songwriters. I'm just going to name the songs themselves. Jay-Z with 444. Julia Michaels with Issues. Logic, Alessia Carr, and Khalid with the 1-800-273-8255 song, and Bruno Mars with That's What I Like. I'm gonna talk more about this later. Actually, no, I'm gonna talk about it now. This category was a mess. This category was a mess. What the hell? Yo, Grammy committee. Did you guys actually look at this Song of the Year category? Like, did you guys actually look at this final list of nominations and were like, yeah, this is a lit list? This list makes no sense at all. Okay, let's break it down. Despacito, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know Spanish. I'm not fluent in Spanish, so I don't really know what the song is talking about in its verses. So I don't really know the lyrics of the song. But at the end of the day, I'm not the only person that has said, like, why the hell is Despacito nominated for Song of the Year? Record of the Year, it was a shoo-in for that nomination. I'm not surprised. But Song of the Year, it's not like it's a deep song that's like really well written. It's just I don't know. Despacito, when I saw this song in the category, I was shocked. I was like, Song of the Year? Like, actual written song? That makes no sense. Jay-Z's 444 was a long shot nomination. I'm not too upset at it, but it was kind of random. Julia Michaels' Issues, I'm glad it's here. 1-800-273-8255, I'm glad it's here as well. And this is my pick for the win. And this is the song that I actually think will win it as well. You know, the 1-800-273-8255 song is so well written and performed. And it really is a beautiful song that's talking about a very important, you know, subject matter, which is, you know, suicide and, you know, just dealing with hardships in life and not knowing how to move forward when you go through your personal struggles. And that's something that everybody can relate to. Not exactly suicide, but almost everybody can relate to at one point feeling inadequate or inferior, or feeling like you were just confused about where your life was going, or, you know, your personal worth as a human being. I feel like everybody can relate to that. So out of this entire category, that song to me is not only the most worthy of the win, it's a song that I actually think will win too. Hopefully if everything goes right. And the last song in this category that doesn't make any type of sense is Bruno Mars' That's What I Like. I love That's What I Like. I love that song. I thought it would be nominated for Record of the Year. I'm surprised they nominated 24 Karat Magic instead, but I'm not upset at it. But I don't understand why the hell That's What I Like isn't Song of the Year. That's What I Like is nominated for Best R&B Song, rightly so, because it's a great written R&B song. But in my opinion, That's What I Like is not that great of a song that it needs to be nominated for Song of the Year. It was a really long shot for it to be in the general categories, in my opinion. So I don't really understand what's up with that, but let's see what happens on Grammy night. But the Song of the Year category is a mess. It's a fucking mess. Like, I don't... What were some of those songs I had? Hold on. What were some of the other songs I had in my nominations before? Because this category is a mess. Hold on a second. Where was Humble by Kendrick Lamar in this category? Where was Say You Won't Let Go by James Arthur? I would have even taken Lady Gaga's Million Reasons. That was a way better Song of the Year contender than That's What I Like and Despacito. Where was Kesha's Praying? Praying should have been in this category. Where I would have rather also taken Pink's What About Us or Sam Smith's Too Good at Goodbyes. Like, there's so many other great songs that came out this year that should have been in this category, and they really put in Despacito and That's What I Like. I'll take 444 by Jay-Z. I'll take it, even though I think it was random. I'll take it. But Despacito and That's What I Like, those should have just been relegated to Record of the Year, not Song of the Year. So that makes me really upset, and I don't understand what the hell's going on with this category. But whatever, I digress. Moving on to Best New Artist. I'm a little bit happy with this category. This category is much better. In this category, we have Alessia Cara, Khalid, Lil Uzi Vert, Julia Michaels, and SZA. I'm very happy with this category besides Lil Uzi Vert. Lil Uzi Vert being this category, I think, is somewhat of a joke, and it's a little bit disrespectful to a lot of other artists coming out right now. This is no shade or no jab against Lil Uzi Vert, but I personally don't understand how enough people in the Grammy committee voted to put him in the final ballot. Lil Uzi Vert is someone who I think is going to be around for a little bit, so I have nothing against him, but Best New Artist nomination, I think, is a little bit of a reach for where his career is right now, and also where it could go in the future, to be quite honest. But that's just my opinion. Don't shoot me. But for this category, I see my person who I think should win should be SZA. I think SZA should take this category. But who will win? Honestly, for me, it's a toss-up between SZA and Khalid. I think either of them will take it. Julie Michaels could be a dark horse, but I don't think she's going to win it. I think this is between SZA and Khalid. Like I said, I want SZA to take it, but I could definitely see Khalid taking it as well. Okay, so for Best Pop Solo Performance, in this category we have Kelly Clarkson with Love So Soft. I was so happy to see this song here. I didn't think Kelly Clarkson would make it, but I love this song so much. I highlighted it in my Brightside Mix Volume 1 back in September. Go check out that video. I love this song, and I didn't think she'd make it, but I'm glad she did because it's an amazing record. Amazing vocal, amazing song, just overall good performance, so I'm glad she made it. So we have Kelly Clarkson, Love So Soft. We also have Kesha with Praying, Lady Gaga with Million Reasons, Pink, What About Us. I'm also glad to see this song here as well. I didn't think it would make it, but it's so deserving of the nomination, and it's an amazing record, so I'm glad it's here. It deserves the nomination completely, 100%. And lastly, we have Ed Sheeran with Shape of You. So this is a very nice category. I think it's one of my favorite categories this whole year, because every song is really good in this category. And it's probably the most competitive category, you know, it's probably one of the most competitive categories, like I said before in my earlier video. So for this category, I really see, I don't know, I think this is between Lady Gaga and Ed Sheeran. I could see the Grammys giving this to Ed Sheeran because of how big Shape of You was, but I honestly think that Lady Gaga will walk away with this Grammy. I honestly think this Grammy is going to Lady Gaga for a million reasons. I honestly think so. But in my personal opinion, who I want to win this category is between Kelly Clarkson and Pink. Between those two. I think they had amazing records out, and I love those two records personally. So I would love to see it go to Kelly or Pink. But I think this will go to Lady Gaga. And if none of those pan out, it's going to Ed Sheeran because of how big Shape of You was. So let's see how this category pans out. For Best Pop Duo Group Performance, we have the Chainsmokers and Coldplay with Something Just Like This. Louis Fonsi, Daddy Yankee, and Justin Bieber with Despacito. Imagine Dragons with Thunder. Portugal the Man with Feel It Still. Zedd and Alessia Cara with Stay as well. So for this category, let's see. I see this category going to Despacito, but my personal opinion, I would love it to go to Portugal the Man for Feel It Still. I love Feel It Still, like I said before in my earlier video. I love that song. I think it's honestly like the best like pop rock record in this category, you know, quality wise. But Despacito was one of the longest running #1 songs in the history of music. So I don't see it leaving the Grammy. I don't see it walking away with no Grammys. So if it doesn't win Record of the Year, and it definitely will not win Song of the Year, I think this is the category where it will get awarded. So like, yeah, I see this Grammy going to Despacito. But my personal pick is Feel It Still. That's my personal pick. Okay, Best Pop Vocal Album. I think between Song of the Year and this category was also a fucking mess too. This category made no sense. And I was very disappointed in this category, to be quite honest. So for Best Pop Vocal Album, we have Coldplay with the Kaleidoscope EP, Lana Del Rey with Lust for Life, Imagine Dragons with Evolve, Kesha with Rainbow, Lady Gaga with Joanne, and Ed Sheeran with Divide. This category is a fucking mess, y'all. Okay, I don't understand why the hell Coldplay is in here. I heard that EP. I like Coldplay, but that EP was not that great. And mind you, it was less. I think that EP was less than 30 minutes long. I think it's incredibly unfair. It's incredibly unfair for an EP that was less than 30 minutes to be being nominated for an album Grammy. That's not fair. Like, that's not fair to all the other artists who had good pop albums out, who actually put out full-length albums. Coldplay got nominated for an EP that, one, nobody knew was out. That didn't really do it didn't do anything big, and 3, wasn't, in my opinion, wasn't that great of an EP. I like the song on the EP with Big Sean, but best pop vocal album, like what? Lana Del Rey's album, I didn't listen to the album, so I'm not going to judge it. I'm not too upset at her being here. She's okay. Imagine Dragons, Evolve. I love Imagine Dragons. I love Believer and I love Thunder. And I didn't hear the rest of their album, but when I looked on their when I researched their album, it was pretty much bad reviews across the board about the album. So I don't know. I didn't hear the album, but apparently it was terrible. But I don't understand why Imagine Dragons got album love. I definitely think they should have got love for their songs, Believer and Thunder, which they did. They got love for Thunder, but this was kind of random to me. I'm glad Kesha's here. I'm glad Lady Gaga's here, and I'm glad Ed Sheeran are here. But Coldplay and Imagine Dragons don't make any sense. And to me, they took up 2 spots that could have been given to Demi Lovato. Who else? Lorde. Paramore. So yeah, this category was a mess. I see this Grammy going to Ed Sheeran, and that's also my personal pick as well. I think out of this entire group, my personal favorite album, besides the ones I didn't listen to, some of these albums I didn't listen to, but out of the ones I did listen to, my favorite album is Ed Sheeran's album, and I think it's also the album that will win. And I think it'll be a consolation prize for the fact that he didn't get nominated for Album of the Year, which I'll talk about later. So yeah, that's best pop vocal album. Let's see. I'm not gonna do the dance categories because I completely missed the mark with my nomination predictions. And also I have not heard any of the songs in the best dance recording category that much, so I don't want to judge it. So I'm not gonna touch dancing in this video. But moving on to R&B. My baby. Y'all probably like, damn, this boy loves R&B. Yes, I do. Okay, so moving on to R&B, the R&B categories. For best R&B performance, we have Daniel Caesar and Kali Uchis with Get You. So happy about that. Kehlani with Distraction. Ledisi with High. Bruno Mars with That's What I Like. And SZA with The Weeknd. This is a pretty great category, I'm not gonna lie. My nominations were not perfect for this category. You know, that's expected. But this is a pretty good category that I'm not too upset at. The only thing I thought was a little bit weird is Kehlani's Distraction. I love that song, but it came out a long time ago. So I'm surprised they like kind of not remembered it, but I'm surprised they took it like as an album track nomination, because as a single it dropped back in 2016, like in the summer of 2016. So it has. I wanted it to get a nomination last year, but it didn't. So I'm surprised it actually nabbed the nomination this year. It must have nabbed the nomination as an album track, because you know, it passed its prime as a single. But for this category, I see this category going to Bruno Mars for That's What I Like. It's the biggest song in the category. He had one of the biggest songs of the year. Yeah, Bruno Mars is going to sweep the R&B categories, which I said before in my other video. I think it's a little bit unfair, but at the end of the day, I'm not that upset about it, because 24 Karat Magic is a great album. 24 Karat Magic, the song, and That's What I Like, the song, are great records. So I'm not too mad about him being in the R&B categories, but I do think he really is going to allow for a lot of other people to not have a chance at a win, unfortunately. Mainly Ledisi, which I'll talk about later. So yeah, like I said, for this category, I see Bruno Mars walking away with the Grammy for That's What I Like. But my personal pick for this category would be either Daniel Caesar's Get You or Ledisi's High. Those two records I've had on repeat all year. And I honestly just think they're better R&B performances than That's What I Like. So I couldn't pick one. I'd love it to go to either Daniel Caesar or Ledisi. I would love if that happens. But this will go to Bruno Mars on Grammy night. If it doesn't, I'll be shocked. All right, so moving on to Best Traditional R&B Performance. My nomination predictions for this category were completely off the mark, which I said I expected, because this is always one of the hardest categories. But this one is really based on album tracks more than singles, so it's hard to really like sift through everything. But for this category, we have the Baylor Project with "Laugh and Move On." We have Childish Gambino with "Redbone." Anthony Hamilton featuring the Hamiltones with "What I'm Feeling," Lettucey with "All the Way," and Molly Music with "Still." So for this category, I was very happy to see Lettucey here. I didn't think she'd actually pull a nomination for the album track, but "All the Way" is a great song. And I actually thought the track off her album called "Forgiveness" would be a contender for this category, which you can see in my last video. But "All the Way" made it, and I'm not too upset about it. "All the Way" is another great record as well. I'm so happy to see Molly Music here, because I thought Molly Music would get shout out, but he got a nomination. I was hoping his album would get nominated, but it's okay. I'll take "Still." "Still" is a great record. Great vocal performance. So for this, and also I'm happy to see Anthony Hamilton still picking up nominations, this long into his career. He's been a consistent Grammy nominee. He only has one Grammy award, but he's been a consistent nominee over the years. So I'm happy to see him here as well. My pick for the win would be Childish Gambino's "Redbone," or Lettucey's "All the Way." And the person I see taking this category is Childish Gambino. Childish Gambino will walk away with this category on Grammy night. But if he doesn't win it for some reason, I would love for this Grammy to go to Lettucey for "All the Way." But I don't see Redbone not taking this Grammy, to be honest, on Grammy night. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on Best Traditional R&B Performance. Moving on to Best R&B Song. So for Best R&B Song, we have PJ Morton with "First Began," Khalid with "Location," Childish Gambino with "Redbone" again, SZA with "Supermodel." This was a surprise pick to me. I thought either The Weeknd or Love Galore would be nominated in this category, but I'm happy with "Supermodel." "Supermodel" is a great song, one of my favorite songs off the album, so I'm happy it's here. And lastly, Bruno Mars with "That's What I Like." So for Best R&B Song, I also see this Grammy going to Bruno Mars for "That's What I Like," because it's also nominated for Song of the Year. So kind of figures that he'll take the genre category. So this will go to Bruno Mars for "That's What I Like." But my personal pick for this category would be Khalid's "Location." In my opinion, like, "Location" is like one of the best R&B like written songs that's come out like this entire decade. Like that. "Location" is one of those songs that when I'm like probably like 50 or 60 years old, I'm like, my kids will be looking at me like I'm the corny dad that is singing a song from 2017. Oh, Dad, stop singing that song. Like, but this will be one of those songs that I will be always happy to like champion and like just sing to the rafters, because it's such a good song. I'm not gonna say it again because I sung the song in my last video, but it's just such a good song. So I want this to go to Khalid for "Location," but it'll probably go to Bruno Mars. If that happens, I won't be too upset at. But I think Khalid is more deserving of this category. Yeah, so that's Best R&B Song. Moving on to Best Urban Contemporary Album. In this category we have Black with "Free Black," Childish Gambino with "Awaken My Love," Khalid with "American Teen," SZA with "Control," and The Weeknd with "Starboy." This was honestly kind of a perfect category. In my predictions that I had before, I predicted that Kehlani and Jhené Aiko would be in this category. But to be quite honest, it was a very tight year, a very good year for urban contemporary albums. And at the end of the day, while I'm very upset that Jhené Aiko and Kehlani didn't make it in the end, to be honest, I had Black and Childish Gambino in my alternative options in my prediction video for good reason. They're also great projects as well, and I'm not upset to see them here at all. They are both deserving of their nominations. So this is a really great category, a really good category that I think represents some of the best music that came out in the R&B genre in the last Grammy year. Such a great category. I'm very proud of the Grammys for actually putting this category together. It was very good. For this category, I see this Grammy going to Childish Gambino because he was nominated for Album of the Year as well. So if he doesn't win Album of the Year, he's going to take his genre category. So he's going to take this one. If Childish Gambino does not win this category, I'll be very surprised, like I said, because he's nominated for Album of the Year. But my personal pick for this category, who I think should win, SZA with the Control album. I said this before. SZA's Control is one of my favorite R&B records of the year. And I just think it's more, I think it's probably the most deserving album in this category for the win. But I don't see her getting past Childish Gambino, especially because she wasn't nominated for Album of the Year either. So we'll see what happens. So moving on to Best R&B Album. In this category, it's one of my favorite categories every year. As y'all know, I'm the R&B kid. It's one of my favorite categories all year. And this was an almost perfect category besides one thing, which I'll talk about in a minute. But for this category, we have Daniel Caesar with the Freudian album. I'm so happy Daniel Caesar made it through in the end. I didn't think he'd actually make it through, but I wanted him to, so I'm so glad he did. Freudian is one of the best R&B albums that came out this year. It's an amazing record. Like I said before, if you have not checked it out, go check it out. We also have Ledisi with her Let Love Rule album. Bruno Mars with 24 Karat Magic. PJ Morton with his Gumbo album. And Musiq Soulchild with Feel the Real. Okay, so for this category, I see this Grammy going to Bruno Mars for 24 Karat Magic. He's going to take it because he was nominated for Album of the Year, and he has the biggest album in this category. So this is going to Bruno Mars, which I'm okay with. But my personal opinion, I would love for this Grammy to go to Ledisi as well. Like I said before, Bruno Mars is going to be in the way of Ledisi snatching a Grammy. And in case you don't know, Ledisi is an artist who has been nominated with all these nominations. I think she's now at like 13 nominations, but she's never won one. Ledisi is she's the poster child, like Nas, Snoop Dogg, Katy Perry. She's one of those artists who has been nominated several times, but never ever snatched at least one Grammy, not even one. I think Ledisi has a curse against her where she's always nominated in years where she's never ever going to win because there's always a song or an album or an artist that is way bigger than her that I don't think she can, trump, and I don't think she can overtake to win a Grammy. Ledisi's never ever had a year or a category where she actually had a chance. She's always usurped by somebody, and this year she's usurped by Bruno Mars. So I would love for Ledisi to take this category. I think Let Love Rule is an amazing project. One of my favorite R&B albums of the year. It has so many R&B gems, but it's probably not going to win with Bruno Mars up in here. Though one person I'm not upset to see him here, but it didn't make me feel good to see him here, especially because he took Mary J. Blige's spot, in my opinion, which I'll talk about later, is Musiq Soulchild. Musiq Soulchild's Feel the Real album is a great album. I enjoyed it. I posted about it on Facebook when I first heard it. I love the album. It's a good album. But in my opinion, Feel the Real should not have been nominated for Best R&B Album. I would have been okay with one of his songs probably taking a performance or song nomination. But as an album in its entirety, Feel the Real was a very long album that kind of started to drown out. It's kind of one of those albums where you kind of started to zone out after a while because a lot of the songs sound the same, and he doesn't really change up the tempos and the song topics. Excuse me. So it's kind of like it's a good album sonically, but I think there's a lot of other R&B albums that should have been highlighted this year before Musiq Soulchild. That's my personal opinion. So I was surprised to see him in here. I'm happy for him. Congrats, Musiq Soulchild. I think his nomination last year for Best R&B Performance for I Do was so warranted. I was so happy he got that nomination last year. I didn't think he'd get it at all, but he got it, and I was so happy because that's a great song. But I think his nomination for Feel the Real this year was a little bit of a stretch. But whatever. And PJ Morton, I was surprised to see him here. I was really surprised to see him here. I think Gumbo is also one of the best R&B albums that came out this year as well. But I didn't think he was on the Grammy radar like that. And also he was nominated for Best R&B Song too, which I was surprised at too. I didn't think PJ Morton was on the Grammy radar at all. I had him in my nomination predictions as an alternative because I thought he had a shot. But I didn't think he'd actually make it in the end. So I'm surprised he did. So Gumbo is a great project that I'm pretty sure you didn't know was out because nobody knew that album was out. But it's a great project. So I'm glad he made it in the end. I'm not mad at that nomination at all. So that's Best R&B Album. You heard? Alright, moving on to rap. The rap categories. I have to say, the rap categories are insanely interesting this year. Really interesting, to say the least. So for Best Rap Performance, we have Big Sean with Bounce Back, Cardi B with Bodak Yellow, Jay-Z with 444, Kendrick Lamar with Humble, and Migos and Lil Uzi Vert for Bad and Bougie. So for Best Rap Performance, I want y'all to go check back on my last video. This is the only category this year where I got my nomination predictions perfect. I got them perfect. They're perfect. All the songs that were nominated were the songs that I thought would be nominated. So this is the only category I got perfect this year. I got it perfect, 100%. So shout out to me. Shout out to me. When I saw this nomination list, I was like, hey, you got it right, 100%. All the other categories, I got things wrong. Obviously, everyone gets things wrong. But this was the one category I was like, oh, I got it all right. Let's go. Hey. Okay. So for Best Rap Performance, this is very interesting. I see this going to Humble by Kendrick Lamar, and that's who I also want to win as well. So, that's one and done for me. If any other song in this category takes the Grammy besides Bad and Bougie, I will not be upset at all. But I want it to go to Humble, and I think it will go to Humble. If it doesn't go to Humble, the person who I think will take it will be Jay-Z's 444. And also, don't underestimate Cardi taking this category. But I think if she does win a Grammy, it'll be Best Rap Song, which I'll talk about in a second. But don't sleep on Cardi B. But I see this category going to Kendrick Lamar's Humble, and that's who I also want to win as well. So yeah, I got that category 100% right. I was so amped. Yo. Alright. Best Rap Song Performance. So for the Best Rap Song Performance category, we have Black with Problems. I'm so happy this song made it in. I love that song. I didn't think he'd make it. I didn't even have it on my nomination list. It completely flew under my radar to put that song in this category. I completely forgot about it. I didn't forget about the song, but I didn't think to actually put it in my list at all. I don't know why. But I'm glad it's here. I love... If you don't know who Black is, go look up Black. His song Problems and his whole album Free Black is amazing. But yeah, we have Black with Problems, Gold Link, Brent Faiyaz, and Shy Glizzy with Crew. I'm glad the song made it. I didn't think it actually make it in the end, but it was my alternative option, so I'm glad it made it. Jay-Z and Beyonce with Family Feud. Kendrick Lamar and Rihanna with Loyalty. I definitely knew this was going to be a shoo-in. And SZA and Travis Scott with Love Galore. I was surprised to see Love Galore here. I honestly thought Love Galore was going to be nominated for Best R&B Performance. Because there have been plenty of, especially over the past few years, there have been plenty of records by R&B artists who had a rapper on it that were nominated for Best R&B Performance. Was Miguel and Kendrick Lamar with How Many Drinks. Chris Brown, Usher, and Rick Ross with New Flame. So there have been plenty of songs that were in the R&B Performance category in the past years that had a rapper on it. So I thought this would be put in Best R&B Performance, but it was put in Best Rap Song Performance, which I'm not too mad at. Because SZA did have somewhat of a hip-hop, vibe and flow, for her part. And then obviously you have Travis Scott with his rap song style. So I'm not surprised to see it here. I think it's a great nomination. So for this category, I see this Grammy going to Jay-Z and Beyonce for Family Feud, which I will actually be very happy with. I think it's the best actual rap song performance in this category, to be quite honest. I remember saying before that I wanted Kendrick Lamar and Rihanna to walk away with this Grammy. That's who I want to win it if Jay-Z and Beyonce don't take it now. I wanted Kendrick and Rihanna to take this Grammy. But after thinking about it, I was like, you know what? Family Feud is actually a way better song. Like, it's a way better song than Loyalty. Yeah, Jay-Z is rapping a little bit better than Kendrick was, and Beyonce has a way better, you know, sung performance part than Rihanna did on on Loyalty. So, I think this Grammy will go to Jay-Z and Beyonce for Family Feud. But my personal pick, I don't know. My personal pick is between, honestly, I'm good either way. Either Family Feud or Loyalty. I'm good either way. But I think this will go to Jay-Z and Beyonce. So for Best Rap Song, moving on to Best Rap Song, we have Cardi B with Bodak Yellow. Danger Mouse, Run the Jewels. Danger Mouse featuring Run the Jewels and Big Boy with Chase Me. Kendrick Lamar with Humble. Rhapsody with Sassy. And Jay-Z with The Story of OJ. So for this category, I see this Grammy going to Jay-Z, actually. I see this Grammy going to Jay-Z for The Story of OJ. Because The Story of OJ, if you just listen to those lyrics, whoo, man. The lyrics on The Story of OJ is on some timeless classic shit. Like, okay, I'm speechless because I'm thinking about how like well written The Story of OJ is. Oh, the storytelling in that song, light nigga, dog nigga. Okay. Honestly, as much as I love Humble, and I think Humble's an amazing rap song too, this Grammy needs to go to Jay-Z for Story of OJ. He needs to get his just due for him, and No ID needs to get their just due for writing this brilliant song. Okay, I'm done now. But if this Grammy does not go to Jay-Z's Story of OJ, I think this Grammy will go to either Cardi B for Bodak Yellow or Kendrick Lamar with Humble. More so Humble by Kendrick Lamar. But this is the category where if Cardi B is going to win a Grammy this year, I don't think it'll happen, which is okay. She's still new. She has plenty of time. But if Cardi does win a Grammy this year, I'd rather it be for Best Rap Song than Performance. Because Bodak Yellow is a great performance. But when you think about it, I think what makes that song so good is not even how Cardi performed it, but really the lyrics themselves. Like, the lyrics themselves are just so, like, say, little bitch, you can't fuck with me. If you wanted, especially, like, the cadence of the song, if you wanted to, these expensive, these is red bottoms, these is bloody shoes. Like, the way, like, her and whoever else wrote it, the other writers, like, the way they just arranged the song, like, the way they wrote it, brilliant, brilliant. I think Cardi B I'd rather her take this Grammy than Best Rap Performance. I don't see her winning it, but I wouldn't be surprised. She could be a dark horse. Don't be surprised. She could be a dark horse. But this category is between Kendrick and Jay-Z. My pick is The Story of OJ, and that's why I think we'll actually win it too. But if Jay-Z does not win it, it's going to Kendrick Lamar for Humble. And don't sleep on Cardi B. Okay, so moving on to Best Rap Album. So for Best Rap Album, this category was very interesting. We have Jay-Z with 444, Kendrick Lamar with Humble, Damn, Migos with the Culture Album, Rhapsody with Layla's Wisdom, Tyler the Creator with Flower Boy is the last nomination in this category. Alright, so here's my thoughts on this category. Jay-Z, Kendrick, and Rhapsody. Okay, Jay-Z and Kendrick were shoo-ins, so they're there. Rhapsody, I didn't think she'd make it, but she did, and I'm so happy. Layla's Wisdom is an amazing album, one of the best rap albums of the year. And I don't know, I didn't think, kind of like PJ Morton, while she released one of the best hip hop albums of the year, I just didn't think she was on the Grammy radar at all. Like, I didn't think enough people in the committee knew about her, or would either knew about her, heard her album, or even checking for her enough to actually have her be in the final nomination list. So I did not think she'd be here, but I'm happy. Rhapsody, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations, Rhapsody. I'm so proud of you. She got Best Rap Song too, Best Rap Song, but I'm more proud of the Best Rap Album nomination because that holds more weight, you know. Layla's Wisdom is a great project, and I'm so happy Rhapsody made it. You know, I really champion releases like that maybe not everybody heard, but really is actually one of the best artistic, you know, bodies of work and one of the best artistic statements that was made in hip hop this year, and it was by a female. So it's like, you know, females almost never get recognized in by the Grammys unless your name is Nicki Minaj, or, you know, in the past unless your name was Missy Elliott. I mean, Eve did win a Grammy, so I can't say that. A Little Kim won a Grammy. I mean, female rappers have always been recognized, so I'm not going to say they have been recognized in the past, but I think generally female rappers have a harder time reaching the Grammy level in terms of recognition. Not exactly their work, but just their recognition. So I'm happy to see she pulled through. And I'm going to talk more about this later as well. But I'm very disappointed to see Migos and Tyler, the Creator here. I'm gonna be honest, I've not heard Tyler, the Creator's album, and I like Tyler, the Creator, so I have nothing against him. I've not heard his album. I wasn't really checking for Flower Boy like that. Y'all let me know if you okay, on some real shit. If you 100% honestly, deadass, really think Flower Boy is worthy of this nomination, or if I should check out the album, I don't plan to check it out. I don't know, I just didn't. I think after Tyler, Creator's last album, I was like, you know what, I'm kind of all set on checking out his albums, even though I think he's a great guy, he's a great person. Shout out to all my Nigerians out there. He's Nigerian too. I love him. That, you know, I like him as a man, as a person, as an artist. But I just think lately I've not really been feeling his musical output like that. That's just me. So if you think Flower Boy is worthy of this nomination, let me know down in the comments. I love to hear your thoughts. But like I said, I am kind of disappointed by this nomination, especially when there's so many other good hip-hop albums that I feel like dropped that should have gotten recognition, mainly A Tribe Called Quest, which I'll talk about later. And Migos. I love Migos. Like, Migos have been producing nothing but bops all year. Migos have ran this year. Come on, Bad and Bougie, T-Shirt, Slippery, you know, Motorsport. Like, they've had nothing but hits on hits. I Get the Bag. They've had nothing but hits on hits all year. So I'm glad Migos got their Best Rap Performance nomination. In my opinion, like, that was a shoo-in, and they definitely deserved that nomination. But Best Rap Album, I think, is a little bit of a stretch. I had them in my alternative options because they obviously were not excluded, and they had one of the biggest hip hop albums of the year. So I definitely included them in my alternative options. But I didn't actually, in reality, think they'd actually make it. Like, in reality, I didn't think they'd actually make it onto the final Best Rap Album list. Like, okay, so the Cultural album was a great album. I have it in my library. I love it. I bump Culture all the time. But let's be real. Like, was Culture really one of the best, like, rap albums out? Like, as a body of work? Culture, to me, the Culture album is the poster child album for, you know, a lot of hip-hop albums that are coming out in this time period we're living in, where it's not really like they're saying, and there wasn't, like, I don't know. Okay. Jay-Z was really talking about a lot of deep stuff on his album. Jay-Z had a message with his album. Kendrick Lamar was trying to deliver a message with his damn album, as was Rhapsody. Rhapsody was delivering a statement. She was delivering an artistic body of work. I can't speak on Tyler, the Creator. I'm sure he was, but I can't speak on him because I haven't heard his album. But Migos is the one album in this category, and one of the many albums this year that honestly was just, it was an album that just had a bunch of different songs put together on it, but it wasn't really an album, like an album. And I feel like unless you're putting out an album, like an actual body of work that has a message, it just has something about it where it really stands on its own merit as a creative piece of work. I don't know. Some people might come at me, but at the end of the day, I'm being honest. I love Migos, and I love the Cultural album. I do. But the nomination was a little bit of a stretch. The Culture album should not have been nominated for Best Rap Album. That album is nothing but just trap songs from start to finish, with no type of continuity between them, no type of like consistent theme or structure. It's just a bunch of singles on an album. It's not an actual body of work. So I feel like it was disrespectful for this album to be nominated over some actual other amazing, you know, hip-hop artistic bodies of work. Mainly A Tribe Called Quest and Logic. And even Big Sean too. So Migos, I love y'all. Migos, I love y'all, but like, no. That's my opinion. So that was best rap album. Okay, y'all. So now I want to talk about my, you know, my general thoughts about all the nominations this year and what I saw with the nomination trends. So I think the first thing to note about the nominations this year, blatantly, obviously, has been pretty much the main topic ever since the nominations came out on Tuesday, is the fact that artists of color and, you know, hip hop, pretty much hip hop and R&B dominated this year, which I'm not, I mean, I'm surprised that it makes sense. And when you look at just the numbers and when you look at just the impact of hip hop and R&B this year, it, you know, it should, you know, as two of the biggest, I'm not gonna say R&B, not so much R&B, but Bruno Mars and SZA and Khalid and Childish Gambino all got crazy nominations, and they're all R&B. So, excuse me, while I don't think R&B has dominated the commercial and critical landscape of this past year, those four artists in particular dominated this year, and they're all from R&B. So, pretty much them and hip-hop as a genre has dominated this past year musically. So, you know, that's the first thing to know about the nominations this year. It's just the overall dominance of hip-hop and R&B, especially in the general categories. I remember, like, Tuesday morning, I woke up, my boy hit me, what up, Kofi, shout out to you. My boy hit me up. I didn't think the nominations would come out as early as I thought they would come out more like in the afternoon. I don't know why. But I was busy Tuesday morning doing some stuff for work, so I couldn't look at the nominations immediately on Tuesday morning. But when I finally did look at them, I remember, like, obviously the first thing you see is the general categories, and I was like, oh my god, hip hop and R&B is in this bitch. What? Like, we're in this motherfucker. Like, that's crazy. Hip hop and R&B took over the categories this year. Like, that's wild. Nothing new. It took me back to, like, the early 2000s, because in the early 2000s I missed those years, man. The early 2000s was such a beautiful time for hip hop and R&B music. Okay, so in the early 2000s, I want to say mainly like, I want to say like 2000, like probably 2, 3, 4, and 5 in particular, like those years, the Grammys were giving major love to hip hop and R&B in the general categories. Besides the genre categories, they were giving love to hip hop and R&B artists who were the big artists out at that time. They were giving them love in the general categories. I remember so Snapshot. In the early 2000s, we had Missy Elliott nominated for Album of the Year. Outkast was nominated for Album of the Year, and they won the next year. In the same year, oh, I remember this. Okay, this year is the first year since 2005 that 2 R&B centric albums were nominated in Album of the Year. Like, more than one. Every year after 2005, there's either been no R&B album in the, you know, in the Album of the Year category, or there's been one. But this is the first year that there's, since 2005, where there's 2 R&B centric albums in the Album of the Year category. That being Bruno Mars' 24 Karat Magic and Childish Gambino's Awaken My Love. I was shocked. And as an R&B lover, my heart cried tears of joy. Like, because I was like, what? Like, Bruno Mars, I expected, but then when I saw Childish, I was like, oh shit, Childish made it. Childish was the dark horse this year. I thought that, you know, I thought the dark horse would be a country album or an alternative album or a rock album, because those are usually the dark horses. You know, those random nominations. There's always like, I want to say the Album of the Year always has like 4 albums that were kind of like shoo-ins, like 4 big albums that came out in the year, usually by hip hop. I mean, usually by pop artists. But there's always that one album of the year nominee that kind of comes out of nowhere and no one really expected and was really like left field. So usually it's like I said, usually it's a country album or a rock album or alternative album. It's usually an album that comes from that world. But it's rarely ever an R&B album. So, you know, Childish Gambino's Redbone was a major hit this year, but his album wasn't as big of a hit. It didn't sell a lot of it didn't sell a lot of copies, and it wasn't like an album that really persisted into the year. It didn't get as much love as a single got. So I was surprised to see him here. But he's definitely deserving. That album is amazing. And yeah, I don't know. Okay, so going back to my point about what I was talking about with the early 2000s. So in 2005, we had Alicia Keys and Usher both nominated for Album of the Year, and they were both R&B albums. And neither one, which is okay, but they were both nominated, which is beautiful in itself. And ever since that year, 2005 was a great year. 2004 was an amazing year for R&B. 2004 was probably one of my favorite years in R&B. So many amazing records came out that year. I'm thinking about so many memories from that year. I was in 2004. I think I was in 4th or 5th grade. Let's see, Sierra, Destiny's Child, John Legend, Janet Jackson, Tidra Moses, Brandy, Christina Milian. Who else came out that year? Alicia Keys, Usher. Who else came out in 2004 that I love? Yo, 2004 was a great year for R&B music. Yes, it was. Amen. Jill Scott, John Legend. I think I said John Legend. 2004 was an amazing year for R&B. So, at the 2005 Grammys, we had 2 albums nominated for Album of the Year, and that were from R&B. And ever since then, R&B has not gotten a lot of love in the general categories. So, it's just so nice to see hip hop and R&B kind of getting its just due in the general categories. Although I do think, I don't know whether I would agree with the fact that it's at the detriment of a lot of other, like country, alternative, rock acts. I'm happy to see the genres I love, getting major love at the Grammys, but at the end of the day, I don't think it was necessarily a slight to other genres because they've been getting love for a long time, mainly country, alternative, rock, whatever. But I don't know. It kind of just seemed like it was a shutout of every, genre besides hip hop, R&B, and pop. Well, Lord is the one pop, album in that category. So I don't know. But that's just the first thing I noticed about the Grammys this year. It's just the onslaught of love for R&B and hip hop. Just such a beautiful thing to see, to be honest. Alright, now I want to talk about Jay-Z. My man Jay-Z. I have a lot of thoughts about Jay-Z's presence at the Grammys this year. So Jay-Z is the most nominated artist this year with 8 Grammy nominations, which I was shocked by. I definitely knew he was getting some nominations, mainly Best Rap Album. I thought he would just be nominated in the rap categories, Best Rap Album, Song, Performance, and Rap Song Performance and Music Video. So I thought he would get at least 5. But I didn't. I thought he'd get 5 at the most. I didn't think he would make it in the general categories. I had him as an alternative option in my Album of the Year categories in my prediction video, because I definitely thought he could make it into the Album of the Year category, but I didn't think he actually would. Especially because it's not often you have 2 albums, by hip hop or R&B and Album of the Year at the same time. Especially in these past few years. Like it used to be that way in the early 2000s, but not anymore. So I didn't think Jay-Z would make it into any of the general categories, but he sweeps them. He was nominated in every general category, everyone. I have some conspiracy theories about Jay-Z's involvement in the Grammys this year. Let me know what y'all think. All right, let me know what y'all think. I have some theories. Okay, so we all know how Beyonce was nominated for like 9 Grammys last year for her Lemonade album, which was supposed to be the album in response to Jay-Z's infidelity and you know, just their marriage, you know, drama and all that stuff, and Beyonce trying to figure out where she's at as a woman right now with her marriage and her family and all that stuff. So Lemonade was that, you know, that passion project for her, and she ended up getting like 9 nominations for that album, including Album of the Year, and she was nominated in Record and Song of the Year too for Formation. Along with you know, R&B. Oh no, she had R&B, pop, rock. She had all types of genre nominations. But she was the most nominated artist last year, I believe. And then Jay-Z comes out with the 444 album this year. In response, and it, you know, in the theory has been that the 444 album is a response to the Lemonade album, kind of like an apology album, saying, you know, he acknowledges his infidelity and all the stuff he did, and how he's still trying to grow as a man to become a better husband and father. So, you know, for a lot of people have looked at 444 as somewhat of a response album to Lemonade. So I think it's interesting that as Jay-Z has released 444, you know, the next year after Beyonce released Lemonade, he also was able to snag like 8 Grammy nominations for his album too. Something tells me that Jay, maybe not Jay himself, I don't think Jay was really involved in a lot of this, but something tells me that Jay's team, along with the Grammys, kind of collaborated to push for Jay-Z to receive a lot of nominations. I think to kind of continue the narrative and to kind of drive that narrative of the Lemonade versus 444 dichotomy and how they relate to each other. Excuse me. So, you know, kind of how last year was Beyonce's big Grammy year, even though she only won 2 Grammys, but she was nominated for 9, so she was looked at as like the big person last year. Jay-Z is the most nominated artist this year, so it's just I just couldn't get that connection out of my head. And also, you know, at the end, I forgot what the name of the award is, but Jay-Z's getting like a legacy award from the Grammy Academy in January. I forgot what it was called, and I forgot what it's exactly going to honor him for. But I think it's just a general like award, you know, recognizing, you know, his greatness throughout his career and just what he's achieved as a rapper and as an artist and songwriter. So I think I don't know, I forgot what the award is for, but he's getting a big like Grammy like legend type award from the Grammy committee or the Academy next year. So going into this year's Grammys, I don't think a lot of people thought Jay-Z was going to be the man of the night when it came to the actual Grammy ceremony, outside of his like award, outside of like his legend award that he's getting. But something tells me also that Jay-Z's team and the Grammy Academy worked to muster up all those nominations for Jay-Z to also give more promo to that award. And also give more promo to the fact that Jay-Z is getting nominated for like a Grammy like legend like kind of award. So, and if that's true, which I think some of that is true. If that is true, I think it's a little bit sad. Not sad. I think it's a little bit unfair. But at the end of the day, I can't say Jay-Z was not worthy of a lot of his nominations, but outside of the rap categories. But it just, you know, it's definitely something I thought about, you know. My last conspiracy theory with Jay-Z relates to how I think the Grammy Academy really gave him a lot of nominations this year to purposefully pin him against Kendrick Lamar. And this is why I say that. So if you remember last year's Grammys, it was the whole narrative, you know, from the nominations up until the award show last year, it was all about Beyonce versus Adele. Who's going to win Album of the Year? Who's going to win Record of the Year? Who's going to win Song of the Year? It was all about Beyonce versus Adele last year. They squared off in 4 categories, I think: Album, Record, Song of the Year, and Best Pop Solo Performance. So they squared off in 4 categories. And the whole narrative, you know, with the Grammys last year was Beyonce versus Adele. Who's going to win? Who's going to do what? This year, that was supposed to be Ed Sheeran and Kendrick Lamar. It was supposed to be those two being the most nominated and, you know, going up against each other in all the general categories and all that stuff. They wouldn't go against each other in the, you know, in the genre categories, because he's pop, Ed is pop, you know, Kendrick is hip hop. But in the general categories, it was going to be between them. And in my head, I had it as that too. I had it as, okay, Album of the Year is between Ed Sheeran and Kendrick Lamar. Record of the year is between Humble and Shape of You. But Despacito has a good chance of winning Record of the Year. Song of the Year is a good chance. It could be either Shape of You or Humble. So the story this year, we all thought it was going to be Ed Sheeran versus Kendrick Lamar. What I think happened is because Ed Sheeran actually ended up not getting that much love in the end. I think the Grammy Academy kind of knew that they weren't going to give Ed Sheeran that much love, even though we all thought they were going to. I think they knew that they weren't not going to give Ed Sheeran that much love, especially in the general categories. He got pop, he got pop nominations, but especially in the general categories. And I think to make up for that, because mind you, the Grammys always need a story. They can't just actually have an award show. They always need a fucking dramatic narrative to get ratings for the show. So to boost up ratings and to drive a narrative, I personally think the Academy really bolstered Jay-Z's nominations so that they had somebody who was going against Kendrick Lamar in almost every category that he's in to kind of create some type of story. And if you look at it, Jay-Z and Kendrick are competing in all of their categories. All of their categories besides Song of the Year, where Jay is nominated but Kendrick is not. So besides Song of the Year, Jay-Z and Kendrick are nominated in each of the categories together. Everyone. Album, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Rap Album, Best Rap Performance, Best Rap Song, Best Music Video, Best Rap Song Performance. They're nominated in every category together. So the big story going into the Grammys, that up until J-Ray, the big story is going to continue to be, oh my God, Jay-Z versus Kendrick, who's going to win in each category? And while I think it's an interesting story, I only think it came up because the Grammys manufactured it. I don't think Jay-Z was supposed to get as many nominations as he did. I think his team and the Academy pulled together to make it happen at the last minute, just so, like I said, there could be the story about him versus Kendrick. So that's my conspiracy theory. Let me know what y'all think. That's just my opinion. And I say that because I think Jay is worthy of his nomination for Album of the Year, but I'm not so sure how I feel about his Record and Song of the Year nominations. And those were the two nominations that I didn't think he would get at all, and he got them. And mind you, if he didn't get those, he would have been nominated 6 times, whereas Kendrick would have been nominated 7 times, and Kendrick would have been the most nominated person this year. But those last 2 nominations for Record and Song of the Year for Jay-Z ended up making him the most nominated person this year. Again, driving more promo for his award that he's getting, driving, more promo for this him versus Kendrick narrative, and also kind of just making a connection between how Beyonce ruled the Grammys last year and now it's Jay's turn, with both of their albums that were reflections of the drama that was apparently brewing in their personal lives. So that's just my analysis. And I really sat down and thought about it. I was like, you know what? I think those conspiracy theories make sense. But at the end of the day, I'm happy for Jay. I'm nothing against him. I'm happy for him. He's deserving of all of his nominations. But that's where I stand with Jay-Z with that. And also, so continuing to talk about the rap categories, rap artists in general. Something I want to talk about is the fact that if you look at it, guys, there's 4 female rap nominations this year. 4 female rap nominations. Cardi B is nominated for 2 Grammys, and Rhapsody is nominated for 2 Grammys. They're both nominated for Best Rap Song, while Cardi is nominated for Best Rap Performance, and Rhapsody is nominated for Best Rap Album. All 4 of those nominations are deserving. And I had to highlight that because that's such a beautiful thing to see. Hip hop, obviously, we know, is such a male dominated, genre. And I don't think, I might be wrong, but I don't ever think I've seen in a Grammy year where there was more than 3 nominations for female rappers in the same year. There have been plenty of years where there was more than 1 female rapper nominated, but I don't think I've ever seen a year where there were 4 nominations for female rappers by themselves. And mind you, none of those nominations were Nicki Minaj. None of those nominations were tagged to male rappers. Cardi B's nominations were all by herself. She got best rap song because she helped write Bodak Yellow. She got best rap performance on a solo song. Rhapsody got best rap song for her own song, and she got best rap album for her own album. So this is the first year, I think, where female rappers got 4 nominations together in the same year, and none of it was dependent on male rappers to get them there. So I had to highlight that. I just think that's a beautiful thing. Shout out to Cardi B and Rhapsody. I'm so proud of y'all. You know, as a fan of hip hop and as a fan of women, and how, you know, just as a fan of how strong and amazing and beautiful women are, and how I think underappreciated they are in the genre of hip hop. It was beautiful to see that this year, you know, they just, you know, female rap really had a presence in the rap categories. Like, not just Nicki, you know, doing her thing, not just Remy, like last year, Remy had 2, but like more than 1 female rapper and 4 nominations. And they're all there with no help from male rappers. Like, well, you know, Kodak Black inspired Bodak Yellow, but still, you know, like, so I had to highlight that. That's amazing. Continue on for the best for rap. I had to talk about A Tribe Called Quest. Where the hell was A Tribe Called Quest? Where were they? When I saw the best rap album category, I was freaking pissed. And I personally felt disrespected for A Tribe Called Quest. I felt disrespected. At the end of the day, I'm actually not that mad about it because the Grammys don't really mean that much and it's not that serious. But where the fuck was A Tribe Called Quest? Like, the Grammys, y'all are really wrong for that. A Tribe Called Quest put out one of the best hip hop albums that's come out not only in the past Grammy period, but also this past decade. Like, the Tribe Called Quest album, we got it from here. Thank you for your service. I thought it was gonna be a shoo-in for best rap album. It was one of the best rap albums that came out this past year, and it wasn't even nominated. It's like, and mind you, we're gonna nominate Migos' Culture album and Tyler the Creator's Flower Boy album. I just felt like that was completely disrespectful to A Tribe Called Quest, and it was completely disrespectful to hip hop as a genre. Because while hip hop dominated this year, and I'm happy it did, at the end of the day, I can't ignore the major snub that was A Tribe Called Quest. So I don't think I'm gonna ever get over that. And I was expecting to see a for sure nomination for A Tribe Called Quest for their album, and it didn't happen. And you know how angry Q-Tip was. I'm not as angry because at the end of the day, I'm passionate about the Grammys, but I don't let the Grammys like run my love for music, and I don't let them run my heart. Like, it's not that deep to me. I'm gonna still mess with the artists I love without a Grammy. Like, I don't give a fuck. Some of my favorite artists don't even have that many Grammys to their name, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong. And A Tribe Called Quest were done dirty. That's my opinion. They were done dirty. There's no reason for them not to be nominated. That was fucked up. But yeah. Okay, so moving on. Now I want to kind of talk about pretty much some of the pop artists. And the genre of pop as a whole, and some of the artists I think were really snubbed this year, or just that I noticed had a lack of presence. So I was really shocked to see a lack of presence for Ed Sheeran, Lady Gaga, Demi Lovato, and The Weeknd. Those artists in particular, I was really surprised at either the lack of nominations. Demi Lovato, that was a major snub in my opinion. She should have been nominated for Best Pop Vocal Album, and I was very disappointed. And mind you, the Best Pop Vocal Album category is a freaking mess. It's a mess. They have a lot of whack albums in that category, and it's just sad that Demi Lovato couldn't come through with her amazing record, or at least something else, like I don't know, just another record. Demi got snubbed completely. She was shut out, and to me that was a complete snub. She's one of the you know, in terms of the new pop chicks out, I think she has one of the best voices, and I didn't listen to her last album because I don't really check for Demi Lovato like that. But I decided to give her new album a listen because I kind of heard about it, and I heard it was really good, and I did, and I was like, wow, this album was really good. It was a great album. So she was snubbed for Best Pop Vocal Album. That was messed up. Ed Sheeran and Lady Gaga both got nominations for Best Pop Solo Performance and Best Pop Vocal Album, which they rightly deserved. And I knew they would both be in Best Pop Vocal Album. And I didn't have Lady Gaga on my final list for nominations, but I definitely had her as an alternative option for the Best Pop Soul Performance category. Million Reasons is a great song. And yo, to all of you people out there that were giving me mad flack for Lady Gaga, listen, at the end of the day, Lady Gaga did not have a big year, and it's reflected in her nominations. I'm not upset at her only having 2 nominations. I think they're honestly on point. I think the two nominations that she got, she deserved, and that's it. I mean, honestly, if she got nominated for Song of the Year, I wouldn't have been upset. I think she would have deserved that. But I didn't think she'd make it, because Million Reasons wasn't like a huge hit. It was a hit for like a few weeks during the Super Bowl. And after that, like, no one really cared about it after that. So all you Lady Gaga fans out there, like, listen, I love Lady Gaga. I have nothing against her. I love her. But at the end of the day, you have to call a spade a spade. Like, you have to be real. And Lady Gaga did not have a big year compared to her past year. She didn't have a big year commercially, you know. So I didn't think she didn't have a lot of nominations. She only got 2, and I think, you know, it's warranted. Ed Sheeran, though, I was shocked at his 2 nominations, and The Weeknd with his 1 nomination. I thought The Weeknd would have multiple nominations, but he only had 1 for Best Urban Contemporary Album. I thought he had many, so I was surprised to only have 1. And Ed Sheeran, I thought he would have multiple as well. I thought he would dominate the general categories, and he would shut out the general categories, which I was shocked by. I don't think Ed Sheeran should have been a shoo-in for Song of the Year, but I definitely thought he was a shoo-in for Record of the Year and Album of the Year, just because of the fact that he had one of the biggest songs and albums out this year, and he wasn't even put in the category. He didn't have to win, you know, he didn't have to win, but I thought he would be nominated, so I was shocked by that. I think everybody kind of can generally, you know, I think the general consensus has been that Ed Sheeran was like snubbed hard. He got nominated for 2, but he was shut out of like general categories, which was crazy. So I don't know. I'm not personally upset by it, especially because it allowed room for more hip hop and R&B releases, which I'm happy about. But I was just very surprised that that's the way the Academy really went this year. I thought Ed Sheeran would be like, you know, the Adele of this year. I thought Ed Sheeran would be the Adele this year, and Kendrick would be the Beyonce of this year. And it ended up being, you know, like I said before, Kendrick and Jay-Z now versus, you know, instead of Kendrick and Ed. So that's interesting to note. I think the dominance of hip-hop and R&B this year, especially in the general categories, it didn't allow for any room for pretty much any pop acts besides Lorde and Julia Michaels. So besides Lorde and Julia Michaels, there was barely any room for pop, and I was just surprised by that. I was really surprised by that. So that's something I picked up. And speaking of pop, 2 artists that I think were snubbed unbelievably: James Arthur and Paramore. James Arthur and Paramore were snubbed. James Arthur should have been nominated for Best New Artist, and his song should have gotten a nod or 2, you know, in Record or Song of the Year, mainly Song of the Year, or Best Pop Soul Performance. And honestly, even if his song didn't get nominations, he should have been nominated for Best New Artist at the least. So he was snubbed like a motherfucker. And Paramore, although I honestly think they make it in the end, they deserved nominations. Paramore, listen, mark my words, Paramore had one of my favorite albums out this year. The Paramore album, After Laughter, was one of my favorite pop rock records that came out this year. I've been bumping the album consistently. I love that album. It's such a good project. And they deserved a nomination for Best Pop Vocal Album, especially when you look at a lot of the dumb shit they put in that category. And at least, you know, their songs, either Hard Times or Told You So, I think deserved the Best Pop Dual Group Performance or Best Rock Performance category nomination. So Paramore was snubbed crazy, and I'm really upset about it. But, you know, they've won a Grammy in the past, so, you know, whatever. But Paramore had a great album that I think a lot of people didn't really pay attention to this year that much, but it's a great project in my eyes. After Laughter, go check out the album. It's an amazing record. So now moving on to the R&B categories, I want to talk about Mary J. Blige and Childish Gambino. Mary J. Blige, in my opinion, was snubbed as well. She should have been nominated for a Grammy this year, which would have made her one of the few people that would have been nominated for you know, the people in the history of entertainment who would have been nominated for a Grammy and an Oscar in the same year. And she would have deserved it. She's probably going to be nominated for an Oscar next year for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Mudbound, which is great because I love her in that movie. She's amazing. Go check out Mudbound. It's an amazing film. I'm a little film head too, somewhat. So I checked out Mudbound. It's an amazing film. Mary J. Blige did great in it. She's probably going to be nominated for an Oscar, which will be amazing to see, like an R&B legend getting an Oscar nomination. Like, what? That would be insane to see. I think it's a crime and it's a shame that she wasn't nominated for Best R&B Album, like I said before in this video. I think Musiq Soulchild took her spot. Musiq Soulchild took the spot that I feel like belonged to Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige's Strength of a Woman album is one of the best R&B projects that came out this year. And Mary J. Blige has had a really good year. You know, coming off of her divorce, coming out with her amazing album, and coming on the heels of what I think will be an Oscar nomination next year. It's like she also should have been playing in the Grammys too. She should have been in the Grammy conversation too. And I didn't expect for her to get a whole lot of nominations, but I think she at least deserved one for Best R&B Album, or, you know, a performance or song, you know, nomination would have been nice. So to see Mary J. Blige not even get one nomination, I think was what hurt me the most about the R&B categories. Every other artist who I really like John Legend, you know, Kehlani, Jhené Aiko, that were snubbed, I was like, okay, I can understand it. But Mary J. Blige, I thought that was a little bit whack. Like, she's had a great year, and you know, I just feel like as an R&B legend who's probably about to be nominated for an Oscar, like, it would have been nice to see her as a Grammy and Oscar contender in the same year. Like, so Mary J. Blige was snubbed. I think it's a shame. But moving on, the other person I want to talk about the R&B categories is Childish Gambino. I think people really need to not sleep on Childish being a dark horse this year to actually sweep a lot of categories. Maybe even in general, like, don't underestimate Childish Gambino's sweeping album of the year or record of the year for Redbone. I could see it happening. Maybe not so much album of the year. Record of the year could happen. But yeah, Childish, don't sleep on him. He's a dark, to me, Childish Gambino is a dark horse this year. Cause the fact that he even got as much love as he did was, you know, proof of itself. But, you know, and especially in the R&B categories, he's definitely going to take Best Traditional R&B Performance with Redbone. It was the biggest song in the category, and, you know, he's probably going to take Best Urban Contemporary Album too. So Childish is actually like quietly walking away with like more than one Grammy next year, quietly. And I didn't think that would happen. Like, you know, looking back this past year, I didn't think I'd see Childish walking away with, you know, more than like a one Grammy, but it might happen. Like, so shout out to Childish Gambino. That man is just a freak of nature. Emmy winner. Just, that man could do anything. He could sing, rap, act, direct, produce. That man could do anything. He is goals. Like, for real. He is goals in life. Childish Gambino could do anything he wants to do. And by the end of January, he will be a Grammy Award winner. Probably multiple Grammy Award winner too. He's going to take 2. Possibly even 3. Excuse me. Because he could probably take Best R&B Song too. So he's probably going to take at least 2 or 3 Grammys home. To me, he's the dark horse for this year. Okay guys, but yeah, that's been my video about my thoughts about the nominations for this year's Grammys in general. And, you know, I give you my predictions of who I think will win and my opinions of who I think should win these categories. So, you know, dissect all my thoughts and your opinions. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I'd love to hear your opinions. I really want to hear what you think about my thoughts and also what you think will happen come January, alright? But in the meantime, guys, please go ahead and like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And as always, guys, continue to live your best life, drink more water, stay woke, and if you are mad or if you're sad, go listen to your favorite song, okay? It'll make you feel better, alright? But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys. This has been your boy Bright, the R&B Kid, and I am signing off.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no, 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 no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no, no, no. Relax just a little bit, you don't gotta worry, you can just have